I love the production value. This
I love
is
Steve. I love Steve.
the
Yeah, for sure.
Rebel Republic on 97.9 Unity Radio. To my left, he cannot pay his bills in joy. He will no longer have to pay his bills in joy. He will no longer have to feel any kind of joy.
Yeah.
Frank Cristiano.
Yeah, that picture of Steve. You know what that was? That's the best WWE pose right there, right? That is his profile picture as the Crusher in the WWE.
I was a Hulk Hogan fan.
Yeah, is that what it was? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, gotcha. I know what I got to start doing. I love that intro, Dave. I'm going to take it and sleep with it tonight. I need to start dyeing my beard. That was a few years ago. That picture of me like 6-7 years ago. Now I'm graying.
Well, I was banging a 24-year-old who said I looked 10 years younger with a dyed beard.
Really? What was his name?
So since she told me to do that, her name was Emily.
Right.
And she said I looked 10 years younger. And if you were going to bang a 24-year-old, you would dye your beard too.
I have no need.
Yes, you do. We all have needs. No. We all have needs. We have needs that need to be addressed. And if dyeing my beard got my needs addressed, it worked. It worked.
I just enjoyed the intro.
His name, ha. Whose name? Whose name? Better not be my name, living head dream. Because you know what's in my head?
He's been a listener, living the dream.
Living
CV.
the dream. You don't know what's in my head.
He's listened a couple times to the show.
You don't know what's in my head. If you knew what was in my head, you would go crazy. You'd go crazy. You know what's in my head? Just Blumpkins.
Lumpkins.
Cleveland Steamers, Blumpkins, and rusty trombones. That's all I think about.
Tumbleweed.
All I think about.
Wind blowing in the tumbleweed.
So I wanted to start off this Rebel Republic. First of all,
you didn't introduce Dave Schuman.
I don't need to. He's the greatest influencer of all time. He's the greatest influencer. We're at 1.5 million on Coach Schuman's Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel.
Wow.
Which dyeing your beard to fulfill your needs. Haha. Yeah, you know what? It did fulfill my needs. I got BJs, I got HJs, I got LJs. I did it all.
It's already started.
I did it all.
LJs. You were getting some LeBron James?
LJ.
You know what? Little just for men right down here. If it takes care of your needs, it takes care of your needs.
Yeah.
If you just need to let it go.
LJs.
If you just need to blow your flow, you gotta let it go.
We've gone into the sewer right off the bat.
Hey, he put the music on. You put the music on.
Waste management.
You're gonna get the truth. You know what? I guarantee living the dream. If we took a straw poll and we asked the men all over the country, if you dyed your beard or goatee to receive amazing fellatio, would you do it? It would be 100% yes.
Unless you're in prison.
From a hot female, it would be 100% yes.
Yes.
And even in jail, maybe there's some hot trans, so you get 100% yes. Anyway, I wanted to get your thoughts because I'm going to stay on point here, and I'm not going to talk about sexual healings or feelings. Voice of reason, Frank Cristiano. What did you, if you did got to go and blow it, what is it? if you
Stay on point for Christ's sake.
if you got to go and blow it,
Stop reading
anyway,
the comments.
Stay
What
on
is it?
point.
Steve Cully have me very worried listening to your latest podcast.
Ah!
Is David Benedict failing? They need to raise money. Why are alums giving huge donations to the field house? Well, they're not giving it to football. I'll tell you that, Chris D. They're not. If there's alums giving donations to the field house, send them my way. Give them my number. I want
Well,
to
this
talk.
sounds like it's a UConn person, maybe.
Because if they're giving money for that, then guess what? All our sports programs are going to fail miserably because
Maybe it's a UConn. Maybe it's a UConn alumni or something.
we'll have a field house that's empty, Chris. A field house that's empty because we're going to stink.
Can we get back?
This is politics.
Okay. No, all right, I'll go. So, Trump.
Chris Bailey gave
All right.
huge money to renovate the field house. That's right. All right.
I love Trisha Bailey. Trump, his attorney, he tried to get his charges dropped, and it was met with much disregard. It failed miserably. What are your thoughts on this voice of reason? Trump basically trying to pardon himself and saying that he is above the law, which I certainly believe he is.
Well, all that means that after he finishes out his 4-year term, here comes a lawsuit after he's done. So, I mean, I don't think he'll get. I don't think anything will happen of it during the term. I think you'll see something happen, obviously, after his term is over. But I think it'll be inconsequential at that point. I mean, he is Times Man of the Year. How much higher up on the poll does he have to go for people to start to realize that all their badgering, their witch hunting, their labeling, it's futile. It's futile.
It is.
It's futile. The rest of the world has realized it. The rest of the world has realized it's futile to argue or to oppose the man as world leaders rush to Mar-a-Lago to meet with the president-elect. I mean, he's not even in office yet.
He doesn't have to be.
And these people are rushing, whether it be scared of a tariff threat or whether it be to increase relations because they know that once he is in office, he will be more of a nationalist. And so it'll be a little more difficult to get things accomplished worldwide with the United States because America will come first. So it's so funny how they paint the picture of him being, illiterate, being non-welcoming to foreign leaders, to NATO, but everyone's rushing to meet with him.
But I mean, the judge Merchant ruled that the evidence presented in the trial was related entirely to unofficial conduct and thus receives no immunity protections. Further, even if this court were to deem all of the contested evidence, both preserved and unpreserved, as official conduct falling within outer perimeter of the defendant's presidential authority, it would still find that the people's use of these acts as evidence of the decidedly personal acts of falsifying business records poses no danger of intrusion on the authority and function of the executive branch, a conclusion amply supported by non-motive related evidence.
Right. So
I don't know what that
exactly. The average person doesn't know what that means. All that is lawyer mumbo jumbo. Okay.
So what's he saying about this?
He's saying that he's saying that no, it's about the money, about paying a bribery scandal. So bottom line,
what the NDA?
They're saying that even if this found guilty, it's not going to affect him in the president in the executive office.
It's not.
It won't be, but all it's going to do is be a distraction. Remember in the beginning when, as soon as he won, what did the liberal leftists say? Resist, oppose, fight. Right.
Right.
Those are their keynote words.
Right. That's all they do. They play the victim.
So that
they're always the victim.
It's not the victim. They're saying that they're here to be a thorn in anything this president or his administration wants to do for 4 years.
Yeah, that's all they want to do. They don't care truly about.
So bottom line, this is just another. It's coming from the New York courts. It's coming from. Listen, all of this has been fluffed up over the last 2 years and has been supported by far left, liberal leaning DAs, prosecutors, judges. Okay, so take it for what it is. Nothing's going to happen until after he's out of office. He's going to get 4 years accomplished, and hopefully it'll be 4 years in the right direction. Nothing is guaranteed.
Well, my question,
but hopefully it's 4 years in the right direction.
I'm going to ask a stupid question.
Sure. No question is stupid. There's only dumb answers. Remember that.
Dave, I just want to keep you awake. Dave, was this civil court or criminal court?
Were
these?
I'm assuming it's criminal court.
It was criminal. Okay. Because that obviously makes a difference. Frank, was it civil or criminal?
I would say it had to be criminal because the crime has been committed, they assume, and they're trying to prove it.
Okay. And I think he's right. All it is going to be
about Biden. I want to talk about Biden. I want to talk about drones. And I want to talk about some of these misnomers that have come out. All these things that the woke said about Trump that all proved to be nonsense. I want to talk about all that. I want to talk about
propaganda. It was all propaganda.
How do you pardon people who are flat out criminals who people don't even want back in their community? For example, in Aurora, Illinois, not Aurora, Illinois. I think it was in Illinois. I don't remember what town. But the woman had stolen $6 million from the community as a
yes,
and they pardoned her. And
yes, because it's white collar. They consider it white collar. So white collar is not dangerous. White collar always gets a pass. If you commit a white collar crime,
I don't agree. Trump pardoned. I think there was a guy, Kardashian, went to him about somebody that had been thrown in jail for like a weed or I don't know something for 20 years.
Yeah,
and she pardoned him. But my thing is, how do you pardon like 10 times as many people as any other president before you? How does that happen?
Are you talking about Biden? Or are you talking about
Biden?
Because he's senile.
Because he's so dumb and he's so out of it that he would pardon Marilyn. He would pardon Charles Manson if he was still alive.
Yeah, he's like Oprah.
You know, it's ridiculous. He pardoned Scott Peterson probably. You know, you never know what's coming. And my whole thing is all these people, and what bothers me the most, all these people knew for years. They knew for years that Biden was completely incompetent. They knew that he was out of his mind. They knew that he couldn't do his job day to day. They knew that he was an embarrassment to our country. And they all look the other way and they let it slide and they prop themselves up to carry this guy for 4 years just because they wanted a Democrat in office. An investigation needs to be done because I believe in 2020 or 2021, it was well known that this guy was a complete dementia, Alzheimer's mess. And everyone pulled together, covered up for him, and got this country running, ran it into the ground, let immigrants come and go as they please, let inflation get to horrible, horrible levels, and crime get to horrible levels. Bail reform turned into a nightmare, and none of it will ever be investigated. It's just going to be, oh, this happened. It's going to be forgotten about, and life is going to go on once Trump becomes president. If I were Trump, I would launch a full-scale investigation into Joe Biden's presidency because he clearly is a moron. He clearly did things that were stupid, ignorant, unethical. He did things that made this country worse. And now Trump has to dig us out from rock bottom. No response. You're just going to sit there and look at me?
I didn't know who it was directed to. I'll speak.
How can there not be an investigation?
Because it's over.
It's not over.
How can you investigate senility?
It's not over. It's not over.
How can you investigate someone who is not mentally capable? What are they going to do? Okay, so they do an investigation. Right, do an investigation, and they find out that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent.
Then
what do they do?
Then Kamala Harris should be thrown in jail.
In jail for what?
Because she was complicit.
She didn't know.
Yes, she did.
She didn't know.
They all knew.
He's mentally incompetent. She didn't realize it. The drool coming down his chin didn't show anything.
Everyone knew. Everyone in his cabinet knew.
I think
everyone on his team.
I think you're correct.
And they.
But I think it's a useless point right now. I think the point that needs to be driven into the ground. Okay, it needs to be driven into the ground over and over again. Is that the policies that were promoted by the Biden administration, by the DNC who actually ran the country, not Joe Biden himself, by everyone through from justices on down, the policies that were promoted were detrimental to the country.
And put us in debt.
The legal policies were detrimental to the country. You cannot let people who commit crimes escape on bail with no bail.
Yeah,
they need to be
more crimes.
They need to be put in jail. Jails are there for a reason.
Yes.
Do the jails get exploited a couple times? Yes, they do a little bit. Sure, everything gets exploited.
They get overcrowded.
But bottom line, if people commit crimes, they need to pay the consequences. That's the biggest one.
Absolutely.
Immigration was exploited. Did immigrants come over the border when Donald Trump was president in 60? Absolutely, they did. Did they come in the droves? Did they have the caravans that we saw come across the border and were welcomed with open arms?
It made me sick to my stomach.
They weren't just welcomed with open arms. They were shipped. They were driven by bus. They were flown to cities that declared themselves sanctuary cities.
Yeah, we want to be a sanctuary
So the cities are sanctuary cities. Now the sanctuary cities are crying.
Yeah,
they are crying because they can't afford it. Send us more money.
What are we supposed to do?
Well,
we don't know what to do.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When they decry more money, when you feed these cities more money to fund these illegal immigrants, what happens to the budget? The budget increases. You get killed with it. Government cannot support this. We can't support what's happening right now with immigration. Okay.
So,
which one of these? Let's see. All these media hoaxes. Let's get this back here.
Yeah, bring up a couple. Throw them at us.
Living the Dream wanted to know if this is directly or already affecting the rest of the world.
Oh, I think without a doubt it affects the rest of the world because what's that?
Firmly affects the rest of the world.
As our policies and our economy rolls, right, the rest of the world feels that as well.
And we're a joke. I think we're laughed at and we're a joke to the rest of the world.
Internationally, I agree.
We let this buffoon in office for 4 years. All he did was cause problems for everyone in our nation. All he did was cause problems for other countries. Israel, Hamas, Ukraine, Russia. What did he do?
All right, here we go.
Did absolutely nothing.
Can you see this clearly?
It's small, but yes.
It's small. Let me see if I can get a little bigger. I just mapped the score. That's better.
Okay,
right?
I see it. Russian collusion.
All right, let's see. So we're going to go through all the hoaxes.
How many mainstream media hoaxes
Any of these hoaxes did you at any time believe in on Trump? Let's see. Elon posted this. Russian collusion, Inflation Reduction Act.
Well, I kind of believed in Russian collusion.
I didn't.
I believe
garbage.
Well, Putin's not a nice guy.
There's no collusion though. They're not sitting there strategizing.
I thought Putin's capable of anything.
He's capable of whatever, but I don't see Trump sitting down with him and saying, "Hey, listen, this isn't." Remember the game Risk?
I loved Risk.
Table board game Risk. You know, right where they had the whole world laid out there.
Ukraine is not weak.
No, Ukraine was strong in Risk. But my thing is this. It wasn't like it's a table board game and Tim and Trump are whacking up the world. All right? That doesn't work that way.
No. But I could see Putin building a time machine. No, because he's that insane and he's that smart.
Dave, continue.
Okay, Bubba Wallace.
At least I'm frozen for this segment. That's good.
Jesse Smollett. What is Jesse Smollett?
Can we go one by one? Can we go one by one? Are we jumping around here? Let's go.
Trump. Okay.
The Inflation Reduction Act reduces inflation.
Right. Spending more money, and increasing your deficit is going to reduce inflation.
That. No, it only increases inflation.
Right.
I even know that.
Right.
People believe that
neo-Nazis find people. That was the whole
Charlottesville. That's a joke. That was already debunked.
Yeah, it was debunked.
Juicy Smollett.
He really did get beat up, but he got beat up by black guys, not white guys.
Yeah, well, he paid for the whole thing and set the whole thing up.
Yeah, it was smart. I would have done the same thing.
I'm sure you
could have been famous because of it.
Yes.
If he pulled it off, you got a chance to be a superstar.
Well, you know what?
If you're trying to be the word,
I would have played the race card and taken.
If you're trying to pull something like that off, you don't do it at 3:00 in the morning at sub-zero weather in Chicago,
where there's cameras.
Right, like where there's going to be white people walking outside with MAGA hats at 3 a.m. in Chicago. Please.
Yeah, and that's what he said. They came out and they yelled MAGA. And
yeah,
beat him up.
They tied a noose around his neck. Yeah, they just walking around with that shit at 3 a.m. So, and he was getting sandwiches at Subway at 3 a.m.
So what if I go down to the Village Green and I beat myself up?
Yeah.
And I say that a bunch of black guys came and called me cracker and kicked me around.
Right.
And said you're nothing but a dirty white cracker.
Right.
And go back to England, you smelly cracker.
England.
I can't say Africa.
England.
What if I do that? If I do that,
go back to the colonies.
Will I be famous if I do that?
England.
Will I be famous?
The king. Well, do we need to call the king? The Honorable Stephen Cully will be returning to the United Kingdom.
That's great.
That's what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to go pretend I got beat up by black people.
You don't have to pretend. I'll bring you down to South Street. They'll kick the shit out of you down there. I'll tell them to package you up and put a sticker on you and get you back to Leeds.
And they'll pistol
Stevie Smollett. Smollett.
Stevie Smollett. That's great.
The Kavanaugh rape. I didn't like that one. That bothered me to no end. The Kavanaugh thing.
Yeah.
Dave's frozen. He's coming back.
Yeah, bring him back.
So the Kavanaugh thing, I paid attention to.
It's good. It's a good thing.
And the only reason I did was because they literally dug into this man's life when he was in high school,
right?
When he was 18 years old,
right?
And I thought to myself, if anyone ever dug into my life,
you'd be screwed.
When I was in high school,
you'd be screwed.
Everything I did was wrong.
Right.
I was buying booze when I was 15.
Right. You'd be screwed.
I was peeing on fences.
It's over.
I was going to.
Right. I
had friends driving drunk everywhere.
They were trying to pull up stuff that happened to this guy that could not be. It was one person's, and the person was being funded money.
Yeah.
She made over $1 million in donations in GoFundMe.
Well,
for telling her story.
She came off as somewhat believable when I saw her testify. The doctor that went to Yale or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't fault her because she did come off as believable. But to give everything context, she didn't even remember what happened.
That's what I'm saying. How is it believable?
That's what I'm saying. She could not be 100% certain that anything happened.
Right.
She was told by people who were there what happened.
Everything she said was hearsay.
But I mean, I give her credit for being honest. She could have said,
"What's honest? What's honest? You don't know what she's telling. If she's lying or telling the truth."
I'm saying she could have been dishonest and said, "Yeah, Kavanaugh touched me inappropriately or did this or did that."
Well, that's what she was saying, basically.
She didn't, though.
What did she say?
She said she didn't remember. She remembered afterwards, and she remembered her friends telling her that this happened.
Yeah, well, you know what?
She didn't remember.
You know what she remembered? The $1 million+ in her bank account
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
she got from GoFundMe. That's what
Yeah.
she remembered.
Yeah.
And then probably the other million
Because
that was slid to her because she was a great.
She didn't want the attention.
She was a great witness to bring up there just to create stories
Yeah.
from a 40-year period.
Yeah.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
what blew my mind.
Right.
That's what blew my mind.
But
because-
again, you have to go to how low that they will stoop to be able to get into the minds of average Americans who really don't know that much about politics or the inner workings of politics to try to get people voted out or not.
Hey, living the dream. I'm with Trump too. And the reason I'm with Trump is because Biden wears Depends and poops his pants. And I don't think he showers either. I think he's a mess.
Kind of moving along. One of the absurd things during COVID when they said that Trump, and people kept saying this was such nonsense, said drinking bleach would fight COVID. How about this?
That was ridiculous. Yes.
How about this? Maybe we could have solved some of the COVID with simply giving steroids and a Z-Pack. Might have solved half the problem.
The Z-Pack.
And
They wouldn't give people anything. They wouldn't give them anything.
No. And they just let people die.
Sit there and die.
And then the other one here, Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation.
Right.
I thought Hunter Biden was like into porn, child porn, and his laptop was full of bad stuff that could have gotten him. He should be in jail.
It was. I don't know if it was child porn, but his laptop was full of
he got Chinese money,
strippers. Well, he got a lot of money from a lot of different countries.
That he funded to his father.
He was on the board of. He was on the Burisma's board. So you got to realize he pulled in a lot of money.
Yeah.
From companies that were looking to get influence from his father. So when you're talking about who had their hand in the cookie jar, it wasn't Donald Trump. It was obviously Hunter Biden without a doubt, and most likely,
and he got protected by his idiot father.
Even when you're senile, you're getting a cut from your son's dealings.
Yeah. So that was all set up, and that's my point. They didn't do this alone. Kamala Harris knew what was going on.
Yeah,
she knew that Biden was incompetent. His cabinet knew that he was incompetent. They all knew that he had no business running this country.
This list is great.
Let it happen.
This list is great. Trump P-tape.
Where did he?
They said he urinated on. What was that, Dave? I can't remember the entire story. I remember this though.
I don't remember this one. Some of them I don't even remember.
Trump took more questions today than Biden took for 4 years. We are so back.
True.
Thank you, Christy.
True.
Thank you, Christy. You know why? Because Trump doesn't need a teleprompter. He doesn't need people to script his questions. He doesn't fall asleep at his press conferences. He is the antithesis of Joe freaking Biden.
Steele dossier. Now, how about that one?
What's a Steele dossier?
The Steele dossier was a document funded and paid for by the Clinton administration, or let's just say the Clinton family, to be able to write up and tie Trump to Russia.
Oh, so it was fake.
It was a fake document. It was a fake document paid for by the Clinton family.
So why didn't they get arrested?
Listen, your guess is as good as mine to why things don't get pushed. Now, obviously,
I'm very bothered by this.
What liberal administration or liberal judge or liberal prosecutor is going to go in and take Hillary Clinton to court?
I want it done now.
It can't be done until the 21st of January.
Then I want it done.
How about the COVID ones? Cloth masks prevents COVID.
Yes.
If you get vaccinated, you won't catch COVID.
Well, Fauci was just making it up as he went along.
COVID lab leak was a conspiracy theory. No, it was real.
But like
the COVID came from the wet market.
The nuclear secrets
were right. Oh, ivermectin is a horse dewormer. Right. That was a great one.
Which it is used for horses, but it's also there's an ivermectin for humans. Joe Rogan took it on the chin for that one.
Where's Mar-a-Lago again? Florida.
Yeah,
have you been there?
I've not been to Mar-a-Lago.
Could I go there?
Probably not.
Okay. Trump built cages for migrant kids.
Yes,
I heard that too.
Those were Barack Obama's cages that kids were put in.
They were for illegals, I thought.
They were for children. They were for children crossing the border with their parents. They would split them.
Yeah,
so they would put the kids in detention centers, and the detention centers looked like cages. And Barack Obama did that.
Fucking cages.
Barack Obama did during his kids again. During his administration, they did this. But when the videos came out, they said it was Trump's administration.
No, if you're coming to this country illegally, if you're coming to this country illegally, and your idiot parents have you on your shoulders, and bringing you across the border, and you're coming illegally, you should be thrown in a cage.
So if a 5-year-old is coming over with their parents,
I want him in a cage.
They should be thrown in a cage.
I want him in a cage.
Yeah, well,
that's the only way he's going to learn his lesson.
You're one of the guys I would be marching in protest against.
He's the only guy. He needs to learn his lesson.
Thank goodness you're not running for election. By the way, I don't want to stoke the fire, completely off topic, but Christy, who must know you somehow, said, Cully, I would love to know your thoughts on Edsel canceling our football season during COVID. LOL.
Christy. Okay. You want to come at me? You want to cover Edsel? Listen, Edsel didn't cancel the season. It was David E. Benedict that canceled the season, not Edsel. Edsel wanted to play. Now, we may have lost every game we played, but we would have played. So the season was not canceled.
Cully, I have a new show for you. This is the name of it. This is the title of it. I don't know who your co-host is, though. It's called Cully Unhinged. That's the show. And you just let fucking loose.
Yeah, you know what, Christy? He is a fraud.
Episode.
He is a fraud. Benedict is a fraud. And Benedict is going to run our athletic department into the ground.
I'm not co-hosting that shit, Dave.
We have...
What's that?
Cully
I'm not co-hosting that shit.
I'm not co-hosting that either. Cully Unhinged.
Chris, if you watched the other podcast, I apologize. I was in a very foul mood because people are in the
for life, Cully.
Yeah, Christy, you should love me. You know why? Because I'm charismatic and I tell it like it is. And I cut the best wrestling promo that Hulk Hogan could ever do. I am for truth, justice, and the American way. And you better believe, brother, you say your prayers, you take your vitamins, and
vitamins.
You take your vitamins, you say your prayers.
Your vitamins.
Say your prayers, take your vitamins, and believe. Those are the 4 commandments of Hulkamania. And Hulk Hogan will take on anyone and everyone that comes his way. I fear no man. And we need more money to donate to Bleeding Blue. Say your prayers. Take your vitamins. Say your prayers. Take your vitamins.
Dave, this will be my last episode of Real Republic. I can't do it
What
anymore.
is he talking about?
I don't know.
I'm just saying that. Oh, you are right. Precious Paige Becker's Precious Dan Hurley. Yeah. They want to they want to praise Paige Becker's. Hey Paige, you get all this NIL money. You go and you play women's basketball. You fill
do not co-sign to any of this.
How many national championships have you won, Paige?
Oh, come on. All right, we're moving on.
How many times can you tear your ACL? Keep tearing your ACL, Paige. That's how I feel about you.
I don't think you're getting yourself in. I don't think
Burley, I love you.
I don't think UConn's bringing you in anywhere. All right, so here we go. So that deal will be cut. There's no way they're bringing you in for anything. I think that ship has sailed. Took me under with you. Okay.
Hero. I should be your hero, Christy. I should be your hero. You know why? Because I tell it like it is. I don't hold back. I have no filter. There is no filter inside this brain. There's no filter.
I don't think there's shit inside that brain.
There's a lot inside.
My
IQ is 175. That's how smart I am.
Does the decimal go after the 1 or after the 7?
175. I'm smarter than everyone on this podcast together.
Right.
I'm blocked by David Benedict on all 3 of my Twitter accounts. Well, you know what, Chris D? It's time to create a burner account and harass David Benedict and let him know what a failure he is. That's what I think.
Next year, Frank. This list will be which one of these stories about Steve are actually true.
Yes.
One, did he threaten the athletic director of the University of Connecticut?
I didn't threaten him. I said create a burner account, and if you want to go after him, make a burner account.
Did he say Paige Beckers just to get over her blown out knees? Yes, check.
Yeah, I said Paige Beckers. Like, hey, Joe D'Ambrosia, the voice of the Huskies, agreed with me. Paige Beckers is nowhere near Mount Rushmore as far as women's basketball, because how many national championships has she won? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? None. How many ACL tears does she have? 2. She's 2-0 with ACL tears to national championships. I don't care if she scores 20 points a game. I don't care that she goes on TikTok and does all those stupid dances. You know what that dancing gets you? Nothing. That's why we lose to Notre Dame.
What does this have to do with politics? Isn't this Rebel Republic?
BYU students.
Yeah, she has a sneaker. I know she's got a sneaker. I'm going to get a sneaker too, and I'm going to drink a beer out of it. Go ahead.
BYU students hurled racist. Remember that one? Racist insults at Duke.
Yes. That is why I initially became a Turtle Boy fan. Turtle Boy broke that story.
Did he really?
Yeah. Turtle Boy broke that story. The kid was autistic, and he was blamed for yelling at a Duke volleyball player who was black, and it was all fake. They had the audio. They went through every piece of it. There were no racial epithets thrown, and the BYU basketball team was sitting right behind where this kid was. So if this guy was dropping N-bombs everywhere, I think the black BYU basketball players would have said something.
Mostly. What's that?
BYU has black basketball players.
Yeah, the only African Americans at the Mormons are the athletes. So yeah,
mostly peaceful protests. You remember that? The summer of love, the summer of
it was burn baby burn.
Yeah.
It was like the Bronx is burning all over again.
Remember Atlanta when the guy was standing? They were all standing in front of the freaking Burger King on fire and nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Thank goodness Trump is back, so we don't. Trump overfed the koi fish in Japan. I remember that one.
Well, how did he get in trouble for that?
Nothing. He didn't drop some food.
It was nonsense. They just made up stuff.
It is. It's great. What can you do? But when you look at this, but you know what? The problem is the real people that just hate the guy can look at all of this and twist it around and say that none of this really happened. Everything he did do this. He did say this because the media has burned it into their brains that this stuff is real.
Yeah, because they control the narrative. And the
narrative makes money. You got to think about something.
Yeah, fear makes money.
We talked about legacy media and legacy media really going down the tubes right now.
Yes.
Bottom line, the only way legacy media has a way to make money left in this world is to be able to create anti-Trump or pro-Trump hate.
That's the only hope they have.
Right. Because that's the ones that really hate Donald Trump, they'll watch an MSNBC or a CNN or an NBC or whatever just to look for those little hints of information that are going to say that Donald Trump is Hitler. So without that, basically these news channels and stuff like that will be defunct. They'll be extinct.
Yeah, no, of course. When Twitter is your main news source in this country, then you know there's issues.
So they're holding on for dear life. So they have to feed off of the Trump hate. That's basically the only direction they can go in.
Absolutely.
And when Joe and Minka went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with Donald Trump, that's why there was so much uproar.
Yeah.
That how can you generate hate towards Donald Trump, but yet go and meet with him and talk and be friends? Actually talk to a human being.
Because it's about communication. And that's what's lost in this country.
It's not about communication.
You have to communicate.
They went there to say their piece and to apologize and to then talk to Donald about.
They went to kiss
That's
the ring.
basically it.
They went
because you know why? They lost.
No
matter what they did, no matter what they spewed out, no matter what angle they tried to show it, they ended up losing.
There was nothing they could do.
A greater amount of Americans, a popular vote of Americans, ended up seeing through a lot of the chaos and the cover-ups and the lies and ended up voting for not just Donald Trump, ended up voting for reality.
Chris D said that Rosie O'Donnell is now handing out in her backpack, making videos talking to squirrels. That's a Rosie O'Donnell.
Did you see, on a totally different note, did you see the school shooting today?
Yes.
Yeah, that was very tragic, and I was just about to bring that up before I got sidetracked on hating on Paige.
Found out who it is too.
It's David Benedict.
It was a 17-year-old woman, a 17-year-old girl, right?
Police identified the shooter. They said fired on a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin, killing a teacher and teen student, injuring 6 others. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes said the 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who goes by Samantha, fired inside Abundant Life Christian School. Of course, it had to be a Christian school on Monday morning. Barnes said a second grade student called 911 to report the student and added the 2 students are still in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. A teacher and 3 other students were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and all of those individuals have been released. Barnes said the shooting took place during study hall with multiple grades in the room. The evidence said the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and the shooter's family was cooperating with police.
I'm wondering, was she a member of that school?
The teacher and student that were killed have not been identified. A handgun was used by the shooter. I don't know how a female could use a handgun. Well, actually, I guess that's all they could use. Every child person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever.
Are you saying females can't use
No, I got it wrong.
Or automatic weapons or rifles?
No, they can. No, I would be surprised. You don't hear many school shootings that are with handguns. I thought they go with rifles.
You don't hear many school shootings with a female as the shooter.
No, that might be the although one was a trans, right?
Right. That was last time, yeah. But I'm just wondering if she was a member of that school or she's just randomly coming in from the outside. I mean,
I think she was a member of this.
She was.
The problem
I'm
is
sure, actually.
They have to train for these active shooting situations very quietly because they don't want the students to know everything that they're supposed to do. So
how did she get into the school?
I don't know. Barnes.
A lot of schools still
the
aren't.
School didn't have a metal detector or cameras or security protocols.
Right.
That's insane.
Right.
But the police said that they do train for active shooter situations quarterly, and they most recently conducted training 2 weeks ago. And it was at 10:57 local time. Police responded to reports of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School. They identified the juvenile deceased at the scene, who they believe was responsible for the shooting.
Right. So you got to understand something.
The person went to the school, obviously, and wasn't checked.
To train for an active shooter thing, that's great. It's fine and dandy, and they have to do that. But Their response time was 3 minutes. Then in me reading the article earlier on today.
And instead of negotiating, they approach, which is good.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. In 3 minutes, someone with a handgun can take multiple lives. As just happened.
They did as good as they could.
So bottom line, this should stand even more for school security up front.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I understand it's a cost,
which is lacking because it makes some people uncomfortable.
Well, no, I think a lot of it has to do with cost.
I don't think it has.
I do 100%. A lot of it has to do with cost.
It doesn't.
It does.
Certain races feel uncomfortable with policemen at their school.
I disagree.
They have said that.
I disagree. I disagree. There may be a minority, there may be a few people that are upset with that. But bottom line, even now,
it's not. It's
in inner city communities now. Communities such as New York and Chicago, they're begging for more police enforcement.
Oh, they need it.
They're begging for. So I don't think that's the fact. I think the fact is that the costs are high
to have one resource officer,
1, 2, depending on how big the school is, 3, 4, 5, and you got to rotate them, and you got to pay them pensions, you got to pay them overtime. You got to
per school, and it's 8 to 6, 9 to 3, or whatever.
Every school should have resource officers. If not,
I agree.
If not multiple, it is not.
And to not have a metal detector.
Well,
high schools should all have metal detectors.
It may take a little bit longer to get into school, but to not have a metal detector is derelict.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not have a metal detector?
I mean, elementary schools, you're not going to have it.
Well, I mean,
schools, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, there has to be a faster way you can get through it and still.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is
this should never have happened.
Bottom line is kids are dead.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So
in Wisconsin,
anywhere, this happened in multiple places around this country.
Yes.
Over the past 20 years.
Yes.
Bottom line, there's got to be sensible solutions to be able to protect each school. There are tons of schools. Budgets will rise. It is what it is. The money should go to that as well as anything else that's going into the budgets for schools. So the resource officers, metal detectors, camera, whatever needs to be done.
You can't learn if you're not safe.
Exactly.
No, you can't.
But
learning is irrelevant.
You can't have things like this. At one point, it was happening almost once a month for us for a little while. And the problem is media is that strong. Copycats. Copycats. Media is strong. Our minds are weak.
So, Dave, I wanted to get your thought on this because this angers me even more than anything. President-elect Trump on Monday indicated that he plans to push back on President Biden's move to reach an agreement that would allow tens of thousands of federal workers to remain in a hybrid work arrangement with telework through 2029. Why can't people go to fucking work anymore? What is the issue with that? I mean, you got to go to work.
I can tell you what the issue is. During
Nobody
COVID,
wants to.
People were at home.
Yeah, they loved working naked or wearing their drawers or whatever.
That's what the issue is. That's what the issue is.
I get it. But we're 5 years past it.
Well, all right. So here's my thoughts on this. I kind of I see this a little bit from both sides. It depends on your job here. Okay. There's some jobs that have to be present, and I think you need to be present in. I think people need to, and even if you're not in the office, I think there needs to be appearances for different things, and there might be team related things you have to do or project related things you have to do together. And yes, you need to appear in it. There's some jobs that do not. I mean, listen, customer service can be done, and most people are paying to do this. These customer service companies overseas because they're in call center answering questions. Okay. So the bottom line is you have to figure out.
You can do that from anywhere. I get that.
No, you can't compete. You can't compete with that.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So now the thing is that I think the blanket, everybody should come back. I don't know if that applies to every job, But I think in general, it's better for people to, if they can, to try and work from a place of where other people are at. Like as a person who's had, as a business owner, have had employees and been in an office with them and have, worked from home myself for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I can tell you, I enjoyed the workplace a lot better when I was going to the office.
I did too.
It's just that, yeah.
I agree with you.
Let me throw this at you. Greatest podcast.
You gotta let Living Dream ask his question. Is this just a debate concerning the U.S.? I feel I can't comment to have a view considering it has a knock-on effect with the UK. Living the Dream, you can comment, you can say whatever you want. We want you to comment. We want your feedback. We want your views because you can help educate us. We want to know what's going on in the UK, and we want to know how it can better help the United States. So please do not hold back. Comment, say anything that you would like to say. And trans, I agree with you. It's either a man or a woman. But we're forced to say trans because that is the nomenclature that they want us to use. So I completely understand that you may be confused that we use that term, but that's what we're calling people.
Let me go back to the discussion a second.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you an example, and you tell me how it should be handled. You're a federal employee. You do good work. You've got commendations. You've gotten raises, whatever it is. For the federal people get an automatic raise. Bottom line, you're doing a good job. Your government office is in D.C. You live in Colorado because now you can do all your work online.
Right.
How is someone supposed to? So they need to relocate back to D.C., uproot their family that they've been there for maybe 5 years, leave everything and come because they have to go. They have to commute to work.
I think it depends on the job, obviously. He said federal jobs. I'm certain that if it's a federal job, you probably have to be in D.C. to do it. I don't know how you could have a federal job.
What if it's Amex? What if it's Amex? My friend lives in
Amex is fine, but I'm saying he's saying federal.
I'm just saying any job. I'm just saying any job, any big corporate job.
Right.
Okay. My buddy lives in Salt Lake.
I'm fine with
and he's a higher up with Amex. Now, let's say Amex is going to call everybody in that they've got to go to the office for work. I
am fine with Amex working from home.
Okay,
federal employee.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying you've got to take into consideration multiple factors.
Yeah.
People going into work now they have to pay for a babysitter, for daycare, for something to watch their children.
Sure.
Okay. So that's an incurred cost.
But it's also difficult to watch your kid while you work.
Is it not? Listen, it costs you $0 to watch your kid while you work.
That's
okay. I'm talking about costs. Okay. So number one, that's it. Number two, let's say they want you to commute. If you're a half hour out, if you're an hour out, if you're an hour and a half out each way, right?
I understand.
How many hundreds of dollars of fuel are you burning a week? Are you compensated for that from your job?
I understand.
So there's multiple.
And you're probably not compensated for that.
No, you're not.
That's why I think it really depends on the situation. I don't think it's a blanket thing. And I think, what'd you say? Was Trump wants them to go back, or everybody to go back?
He's opposed to federal workers working a hybrid schedule until 2029. Biden proposed a hybrid schedule for federal workers until 2029. Trump is against it. And I think federal workers are on a different level because federal workers generally run the country. I mean, your job is important enough that you're involved in the day-to-day operations of running the United States of America. So I think it's a job that you probably have to be there for.
I don't know what encompasses federal jobs, like what all the jobs are that are federal.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know.
I would have to know what that is.
We'll get more information on that.
I think if it's an issue of national security, a job that's of a national security based job, meaning something that could affect our nation directly.
Well, yeah, the NSA, like when they put the Secret Service people on remote work duty after Trump got shot. Like, what's the Secret Service going to do working remote?
But yeah, I agree. I think that although some of them have desk jobs, but I think that it depends on if it's a job that is required by national that could affect our national security or people's national security. Then I think maybe they should be coming back. Okay, because every system that is within those buildings is going to be a lot safer communication wise. Now,
Correct. Yes,
if it's a job that is not a matter of national security,
that changes things,
and it doesn't require you coming in, like it's not, you're not on this project, or then I would think it would be a case by case basis there, and I think that's how I think you should look at it, is simply that if a federal job affects national security, then those people probably have to come in, and then otherwise it's a case by case basis. And
I agree.
Look at it and see, because I do think, look, regular corporate jobs, I mean, man, some of these jobs, you just sit in fucking meetings all day long. Like, I mean, you can't sit in a fucking Zoom call in front of your fucking TV and make sure your kid is.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
But,
I agree.
But if you're working on something, like if you're an engineer and your project requires communication,
everyone's different. Everyone's different.
Then you might have to be with someone because you may have to ask a question. I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you could just jump on a Zoom call and ask that question.
It's a case by case basis. Every situation is different. But unfortunately, we are out of time.
That's it again.
This has been an incredible Rebel Republic.
We wasted a third of this show.
Well, we'll do another one whenever
talking about nonsense, giving your WWE rant.
No,
Connecticut basketball, the athletic director. I mean,
whenever you want to do another one, you're more than welcome to.
How does Ernie even get anything out of this? The first part of this show.
Oh, it was great. We were ranting and raving. Every time we argue, he gets higher rating. So, for the voice of reason, Frank Cristiano.
Did you say he didn't like white people?
No, he doesn't like us. For the coach, David Schuman, the greatest influencer, 1.5 million followers on the Coach Schuman Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel.
Is this why I'm not getting paid?
Smash the subscribe button. And myself, Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. This has been Rebel Republic. You're either with us or you're against us. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw